Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing great and welcome back to the channel. In my today's video, I'm going to discuss with you about a company called GNG Electronics. They are into selling of refurbished laptops and desktop and other electronic item, but majority of their revenue comes from refurbished laptops only. So, and they operate not just in India, they operate in India, UAE, US, Europe, and rest of the world. So, we'll go through their recent Q4 FY26 and FY26 results. We'll go through the main call sorry, and we will see what is, pushing or helping the company grow at a much faster rate compared to the market. So if you look at the numbers for Q4 FY26, the revenue increased almost 43% to 652 crores. PAT was up by almost 186% to 42.61 crores. And if you look for the whole year revenue, it increased by almost 34% to 1,891 crores. And PAT was up by almost 92% to 132 crores. If you look at it, even with along with the demand, with the revenue increase, they are getting the operating leverage also. And one of the other reasons which you can see, right, especially if you look at the margins for Q4 FY26, both EBITDA margin as well as PAT margin improved almost close to between 30 to 50%, which helped them to get the operating leverage. And if you look at the whole year also, the EBITDA margin improved to 10.6% from 8.9%, and PAT margin improved from 4.7% to 4.9% to 7%. And if you look at the overall structure of the company, we'll just go through the main statistics, right? So one of the things that we will look at is their refurbishment facilities, because as they operate all over the world, they have refurbishment facilities not just in India but in UAE and US to cater the demand all over. And if you look at the main important numbers, right, the volume growth for the company for this year was around close to around 23%. And if you look at the revenue mix, as I said, this the majority of the revenue comes from laptops. So laptop contributed to around 81% and non-laptop contributed around 19%. If you look at the revenue split across the region, India was the highest, contributing to around 33% of the revenue, UAE around 12%, US around 21%, Europe around 20%, and the rest of the world around 14%. And if you look at it, the revenue is also quite split, right? Not concentrated in one region where if anything happens over there, they could have a big impact on this. And so that is one good thing for them. And if you look at the average selling price for the laptop is around 30,000 and for others it's around 19,000. And if you look at the blended ASP, when we take, both laptop as well as the other items, include other laptops included, right? It comes up to around 27,000, which is up from 26,000 last year. And one of the other question which was asked, right, which is now quite common in most of the con calls which you attend or, read the transcript, is about the geopolitical impact. And the question was very important for them because they have one of the biggest refurbishment facilities in UAE. So the management said they don't see any operational impact, and even the laptops which they refurbished in UAE and then they transport to outside to other places, right? They don't do it via ship, they do it via air. So even though the Strait of Hormuz is closed, they don't see any impact at all. And if in terms of on the expansion path, right, so management provided some important update, right? And how the market is changing at the back of it, right? Which is how to say the company is getting company is getting the benefit and the demand is increasing for refurbished laptops out there. Okay, so first thing that they said, because at the back of accelerating AI adoption and supply side chain constraint. So over here I'll explain to you, right? So now what is happening because on the how to say, because the AI adoption is going all over the world, right? So the companies which how to say manufacture these I would say manufacture this DRAM, right? The memory RAMs and everything. What they're trying to do, right? They are shifting their production more towards the AI requirement rather than the personal laptop requirement, and they are getting deprioritized, and due to which there is a constraint over there. And obviously, they are concentrating more over there because they're getting better margins and more compared to the consumer side. So that is one of the main reasons. First of all, AI adoption. The second thing is the supply side constraint. And if you look at one of the numbers, right? So there is a organization called as IDC, where they publish the numbers of new PC shipments, which happens over the year as well as the future forecast, right? So last year, if we see in 2025, according to them, around 285 million new PCs were shipped all over the world. But if you look in 2026, they are saying that there will be a shortfall of around 11%, which comes up to around 32 million. So that means the demand is there, but the actual new production will not be able to fulfill it. So automatically, people who want the laptops, they will have no other option but to go for refurbished laptop, which will by default benefit GNG Electronics, especially in India also. Because if you look in India, right, the entry level laptop prices have increased by almost 40% in the last 2 years. So, if you look at 2024, the price was around 25.5K INR. Now it has come up to around 40K, 40,000 Indian rupees. So obviously, things are getting expensive when people who are especially looking for entry level segment. And one of the other important thing what the management said, right, which will contribute for their growth is right, because they as they sell these refurbished laptops, right? So they are premium refurbished devices which they refurbish and sell. Their price is almost same to the entry level. So if a consumer, like for example, if I'm planning to buy a new laptop, which is at the basic entry level of 40,000 rupees, but if GNG Electronics, which is under their brand Electronic Bazaar, right, is giving me a premium laptop with much more, RAM, memory, GBs and everything at the same price with a warranty. Obviously, as a consumer, I would choose that. So that is one of the good things happening because earlier when the prices were not increased, the price of the entry level laptop and the refurbished had quite a bit difference. But because of the increase in the prices of these, the new laptops, the gap has reduced, which is definitely going to help GNG Electronics. And if you look from the growth perspective, they've increased their countries which they serve from 38 to 46, and they have expanded their facilities also. Because in Mumbai they had one facility, they have made it now two. From UAE they had three facilities, they have expanded it to eight, and obviously they're getting into a agreement with distributors and dealers to sell their products. So if you look at the company overall, right, along with what they do, the whole there is a tailwind in the industry which is helping to increase the demand for the refurbished laptops, and GNG Electronics is right in the middle of it. And if they do all the right thing, they'll definitely benefit from it. And if you look at the guidance from the revenue perspective, right, management said they can easily grow by their revenue by around 25 percent for FY27. So let's see how this year pans out, whether they will be able to achieve their revenue target, and whether they will also be able to procure these laptops from others and refurbish at the right time, and to how to say to cater to the demand of the consumers out there. If you like this video, please do hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and God bless.